Yo, what's good everybody? Scotty GLL coming at you with another video. All right, boys, so tonight is going to be an important topic. It's based upon whether or not it's important to eventually just discard any line that you're using or continually in the beginning stages asking for lines to use, or just copy paste stuff. You'll watch an infield, you'll use somebody else's material, and I'll start to run into this issue with clients over and over and over again. The lack of ownership, the lack of alignment from where that thought was originally born from that person. Okay? Again, congruence. I've been saying this from the beginning stages of this channel. You know, it's extremely important. I can't stress it enough, right? So one person could say something, the other person could say something, and it just doesn't seem to hit right. As the woman's job is to size you up and call your bluff, and most of the times the guys fail their shit tests, you know, because he's not the guy he's presenting himself to be. Okay, so I always stress over and over to come up with your own material. There's so much material to use in the present moment. Number one, to build a genuine connection with that girl. Okay, it's going to always feel more authentic. It's always going to hit way better, as opposed to just taking a scripted line, premeditated, and using it just because you heard somebody else say it. Not good, man. The only time I would ever prescribe something like that in the very, very beginning stages, the only thing I was ever given, I guess, as a crutch was, you are the cutest girl I've seen all day. My very first boot camp, that was the opener they gave me, and I just ran with that pretty much the entire boot camp. That's about it, man. Everything else was trial and error, stumbling and fumbling upon your own creative process, I think is extremely important. Let your own mind start to come up with things in the moment, you know, and that's what it will do when naturally you have a lot less anxiety. When the approach anxiety is mitigated, okay, you open with the introduction, you hold the hand a little bit more. A lot of cool things will naturally arise inside of you, driven by that sexual desire and romance for this woman or her beauty. You know, there's plenty of things. Let your mind roam free. Stop always asking for the next best line, the thing that, what are you saying? What are you saying? You know what I mean? Better yet, you should just be watching this person and absorbing their body language. You know what I mean? You absorb your mentor's body language and how he acts and carries himself from afar, and see how, you know, he's standing, see how he's moving, see how he's, you know, that's the stuff that you really capture that picture in your brain. It's that saying, a picture is worth 1,000 words, folks. If your attention is only based on what are you saying, I feel like you're on the wrong track. It's a dead end. You know what I mean? There's a few key principles that always need to be applied, right? You know, you have to have some level of charm. Absolutely, you need to be confident walking up. Your eye contact needs to be on point. You have to have kind of like that sly smirk look, because you're going to be spitting out a lot of sexual innuendos, making things sexually explicitly clear. So things of that nature, and see how he's handling that. See how he's displaying himself completely in control of the set. Leading the interaction, taking it where he wants to go, in between getting to know you type questions. At any moment, you know, you could just feel the sexual tension. You could feel that he can pick up and take this girl down the block or to the car. That's how every interaction could kind of feel, where it's like almost the start of a porn scene. You could clearly see as a bystander that the two of these people are not there just to be friends, or you're having a hard time making a distinction of what that dynamic is. You know, it should be very, very clear. And I think, again, to go back to what we were saying earlier, to be congruent with this, okay, as long as your intent is clear and you go in with some sort of direct compliment about her, preferably, that you can keep you present and anchored in the present moment, the more you stay, focused and on something about her that you genuinely find attractive, right? Whether you're holding her hand and you noticed how soft her skin is, a comment about that, oh wow, this feels really good, you're so soft, and maybe pull her in. It does, keep in mind, it doesn't have to be this smooth guy game and everything perfect. It's better if it's a little natural and it's a little sloppy, but you realize you're just like in awe, and your girls feel that. They feel that, and you're just being very sexual. Sometimes I'll just pull girls in for a hug and be like, you're so cute. Whatever it may be, it doesn't have to be perfect, as long as that's what your driving factor is. Just stop trying to look for other people's words and putting them in place, and you'll notice, you're like, why isn't this working? Why isn't this hitting? Because deep down inside, you have to check yourself first and realize, number one, am I DTF? Do I really want a quick sexual encounter with this girl? You may not want to, or you may have to try to figure out why you don't want to, first off, because you'll be like, no, I'm saying things that are extremely sexually explicit to this girl, but she's sizing me up real quick, it's not hitting. A lot of the stuff I've said throughout the years has just been born from being in the moment, coming up with this really cool shit that is driven by lust and wanting to hook up with this chick and be with her in a romantic setting. So I highly, highly encourage you guys to do the same, to come up with your own material. You'll find it relatively easy and natural as the anxiety is completely reduced, your social freedom is maxed out. You'll start to come up with some cool sexual things as if you were with this girl for years, or she was sitting here on the couch with you, and you're just escalating normally and doing your normal thing. You're not consciously going through a checklist when you two are, highly intensely in the moment, looking deep into each other's eyes, making out. Like, there's no checklist there. Things are just happening naturally, right? You want to kiss her because you want to do that. You know what I mean? You want to kiss her neck and turn her on. She's, arousal is very natural and organic. There is no like conscious checklist. You know what I mean? That's a lot of fear driven from old behaviors. So I'm going to wrap this video up, boys. But again, stressing the point that go out there, come up, let your mind roam free in the moment, and it will come naturally, folks. But first and foremost, you got to make sure your social freedom is maxed out. Peace. So listen, guys, tap in with me, coaching, get your game leveled up. I'll be dropping some more infield in the very near future, and book a session right now. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.